Done. And before we get started today, I had Will just posted in the group on our group photo, our new group photo, to tag yourself. So if you guys were at the summit and you see your face in this picture, make sure you tag yourself in this video. It's the new cover photo of our group. And we just had an awesome time. Started a lot of momentum a week ago. I guess it was 2 weeks ago in Louisville, Kentucky. And we're going to continue it today with our Q4 special webinar. So I'm going to introduce Grant in a second. For you guys who are joining us, I can see all you guys in chat, so go ahead and put that in there. We're going to shoot to cover about an hour's worth of content today, and then this is going to be actionable how-to stuff for Q4, and then we're going to get into our brand new lead list, and we'll share what that is. So welcome to how to maximize your Q4 profits this season, plus our little sneak peek to our brand new Q4 leads list. And before we get started, let me grab my cup of water here, because we're just going to have a little family chat today and drop some goodies for you. So if you guys are ready for some good value today. So first off, before we start, some of you guys saw in the group, this is very personal, but Sarah and I spent the last 5 days in the hospital. She had some complications with the baby. Praise God. I wanted to thank all you guys for your prayers and your flowers and just the love you guys sent. She's back home on bed rest, but it was definitely a really sobering thing. Like that's never happened to us before. I've never had to go to the hospital with somebody before. And it really kind of puts things in perspective for what's important. So I had to spend a few days putting family first, and we just moved into our new house, so we're in the middle of a move. But this is the first webinar from our brand new office, and we have some brand new lead lists to go aside with that. So just want to say thanks to all you guys for that. And here's our agenda for today, y'all. Okay, we're going to cover, first and foremost, we're going to help you guys get organized. We're going to cover some key Q4 selling dates. And these are very important for maximizing your Q4. I want to make sure, a lot of sellers, they get excited about Q4, and then that excitement quickly turns into like fear and overwhelm. So how many of you guys have ever felt overwhelmed, or maybe you feel right now? And if you do, it's okay. Just put a yes in the chat box. We're all, it's a safe place here. But we're going to help remove that overwhelm today on the webinar and help give you some clarity and some peace, if that's cool with you guys. So second thing we're going to cover is peak season. Okay, some of you guys want to know, what is peak season, when is peak season, and how do you capitalize on it? So what kind of things do you need to do to maximize peak season? We're going to talk about that. And then lastly today, we're going to give you guys a sneak peek behind the curtain into our brand new lead list. And these are leads fresh off the press. They're straight out of Grant Dunn's 7-figure Amazon business. These are leads that his team has worked hard for the past couple of years to harvest. And currently they're only available to TAP members, a select few in Platinum, and we have a handful from the summit that get on an event special as well that have access to these. And we're going to open this up for the first time today to the group. Actually, next Friday when they're going to open up, we'll talk about how that works at the end of the webinar. So first and foremost, who are we? If you're brand new to the group, my name is Gabe Strom. I'm the founder of our crazy community, Seller Secrets, and I'm joined by my good friend and partner in crime, Grant Dunn, all the way from East Wenatchee, Washington. And I know that because I've flown out and spent some time with him and Ashley, and they're now 2 boys. But if you guys don't know Grant's story, he started on Amazon about, you can tell the story better, probably 2+ years ago. I think this might even be your third Q4. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Grant. But Grant was a plumber and just looking for a better way to make an income and be able to be at home with his family. And he found this group, found this Amazon selling community, attended some live events, and completely transformed his life, and has taken his annual income from his plumbing business and turned that into a reoccurring business in his own business that he now has the time freedom to do what he wants. And he's taken it a step further and has automated and has built a team. So he used to be on the road scanning stuff and now gets to stay home and manage the team. So Grant, really impressive. I don't know what your sales are total, 1.5, 1.6, something like that. But appreciate you being on with us, dude.
Yeah, you bet, man. Yeah, I don't know. We're probably getting close to about, I don't know, 2 million maybe. I can't really look back at the previous years on my records anymore. I only get the last 2 years, so that's kind of a bummer. But yeah, we're probably about 2 million on Amazon. And yeah, I'm glad to be here, man. I love being a part of the group, and the group that you really manage and facilitate. And none of us would be here without you, so definitely appreciate you. And I don't know if everybody knows this or realizes this about Gabe, but he's probably been one of the, actually, definitely has been one of the major factors in the success of our business. I mean, when it comes to systems and processes and just understanding how to build, a multiple six-figure and now $1 million business, Gabe has been a big part of that and just kind of helping me organize my thoughts and organize my business. And really, he's not just that, but he's also a coach for me. As a lot of you guys know in the group, I do some mentoring and stuff like that, and we've got TAP and some other things, but none of that would exist without Gabe, and I probably wouldn't be half the coach or mentor that I am without him. So I just want to thank you, Gabe, man. You're the man, and we appreciate you. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And just think, yeah, man, you're so cute in this picture. I have to say.
Okay, we got to get to the webinar. This is turning. I appreciate you. You appreciate me. Everybody appreciates. I appreciate everyone watching live. We're just having fun. No, I appreciate hearing that, though, man. Seriously, it's a pleasure to work with you, and we get to change lives, and that's really fun, man. Amazon selling is great, but one of the things that makes our group different from all the other communities is we keep it about the main thing, which is your family and your freedom and your faith. And we've learned and cracked the code to building a lifestyle business where anybody, and I truly believe anybody starting from scratch in America today could do what you've done. And we've had so many other members who have cracked the 7-figure code. And really, and some people say, well, what does that mean? It's just full-time income. It's you get to do what you want when you want to do it. And that lights me up, dude. So anyways, appreciate you guys being here. If you're new, before we get into the content, we got to talk about why we're putting this on today. Why are we hosting this special Q4 webinar for you? And the main reason is because in order to become successful selling on Amazon, there's really one skill that all Amazon sellers must master, especially in Q4. And I like to simplify everything down to the core of its essence. And I've noticed from all successful sellers, there's one thing they all have in common. So I'm going to ask you guys before we go on, you guys got any guesses? What's the one thing you think it takes to be successful selling on Amazon? I'm going to pull the chat box back up here. Will, yeah, it is fun to say. So what do you guys think? This is the part where we get to chat with you guys. What do you guys think? Take a shot here. No right or wrong answer. What's one skill you think it takes to be successful? And I think we've got, let me go back here to questions. Linda says persistence. What else do you guys think? I gotta wait here. We're not gonna go on until we get a couple more because this is important. This isn't, you learn when you participate, guys. That's why we ask you to do this. Always be sourcing. Will says, what else do you guys think? Anything else? What's one skill? Let's get one more here. Paul says, take action. Alexander, perseverance. All these things are great things. Install system, says Will. Scan everything. Organization, says Grace. So all these things are really great and important things. But it all really starts with one, and that's sourcing. Okay, and this is stuff that you guys already know. If you're new to the group, and Grace and some of you guys, you'll learn this. But the number one problem all Amazon sellers have when they first get started is how do I find profitable product? And then even when you scale, Grant, you guys are at a multiple 7-figure in sales level now. You guys run into this too. How do I find more product? And there's some shortcuts and some leverages and systems you can set up to replicating what the pros do. So guys, today's presentation is really about how you must learn to become a professional buyer. And Grant, I want to ask you real quick, man, when you first started, I know you were out scanning stuff. When did it first dawn on you that your main job as an Amazon seller is to become a buyer?
Probably like the first couple of months. I mean, that's really where the rubber meets the road is buying good product and having opportunity to buy good product. And so I think, in the first year, it was definitely a challenge. And then that's kind of why we're here and why we're having this conversation today is because I've kind of got bent on this topic of making buying as easy as possible and having an abundance of opportunity. As my budget increases, I need to have more opportunity to buy. And so that's where we're at right now. But yeah, man, you're right. It's the key.
It's the first key. There's many keys along this journey, but this is the first thing. You got to think of yourself as a professional buyer, and you got to treat yourself that. You're working, even if it's just you and your corporation, or you don't even have a corporation yet, you're the buyer. That's your first job that you wear in this business, okay? So in this training today, guys, it's designed specifically to teach you how professional Amazon sellers buy. So we're going to peel back the curtain and really help accelerate what some of you guys have been struggling with. So before we get into some of the key dates, I want to talk quickly, Grant, about a pro versus an amateur buyer. And there's a big difference. A lot of this is mindset, and a lot of you guys will see this in other kind of businesses you've been a part of. There's some small shifts you can make. So let's just talk quickly about an amateur buyer. And I got to laugh when I see this picture. This is Grant's brother, Taylor. He's actually a professional buyer, but this is about as like awkward of a picture as I can ever see of somebody scanning in a store. So if you've ever felt like you're standing in your underwear and people are looking at you funny, we've all been there, okay?
Yep.
How many of you guys can relate to this? This is Taylor. So here's what an amateur buyer is. An amateur buyer will join the group. They'll watch a couple videos, just enough to be dangerous. They'll go out scanning once or twice, maybe a weekend or something. They'll scan a few things for a couple hours. They don't really find too much, and then they give up and say there's no deals. Right. So, and I'm not going to ask you guys to answer, but just be honest. How many of you, when you started, at one point were like, man, forget this. Like, I can't find anything. I don't know what these people are talking about in the group. I can't find anything. And I know I felt that way in the beginning. I was like really frustrated because I would see Grant and all the different leaders in the group buying stuff, and it's like, how do they do this? So here's another belief system from an amateur buyer. An amateur buyer doesn't believe in investing in paid lists or software. They don't want to put any tools in their business because they think, why would I buy leads if I can just go out and scan on my own? So this, again, this person, a lot of times these people are newer to the business and they still value their money over their own time, and they're willing to go out and trade that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a great place to start for everybody. But what about a pro buyer? What's the difference between somebody who treats this like a business and Grant, I get asked this question a lot when people are applying to join the group in the beginning. They say, like, what's the percentage of success rate
Yeah.
in the group? I had not a lot, but occasionally we'll get this question. And I love telling people, I'm like, well, 95% of most people fail and don't do anything. Right. And our group, our success rate's much higher. We actually did a little commission countdown at the summit. For those of you guys that were there, we had everybody in the room that had made $1 on Amazon or more stand up, and I believe it was over 95% of the room stood up. There might have been a couple people sitting, but most of the room stood up. And then we went all the way from $1 all the way up to 500,000 to $1 million. And I believe at the $1 million mark, we still had, there was like 7 or 8 people, maybe 10 in the room that were still standing, that were at the summit that have sold over $1 million. So anyways, there's some keys though. There's some, our group we have this awesome community, so we have a lot more success than normal. But it's like anything, it's the 80-20 rule. Some 20% of people are going to achieve 80% of the results, and it's always been like that and will always be like that. But here's what a pro buyer is. Okay, a pro buyer has a budget. So these are things that you want to create going into this Q4. They've got a set of criteria, so you know exactly what you're looking for, what your ROI, what your profit margin is, what you're looking for, and they buy for their business every day. Okay, they don't just go once a week and twice a month. Like every single day, they're in the game buying, and they make mistakes and they move on and they keep buying, and that's one of the keys I've noticed. Okay, a pro buyer, they also subscribe to multiple lists, and I know this because I'm friends with a lot of the group leaders in our industry, and a lot of these pro buyers, these are people that have 6, 7, sometimes even 8-figure businesses and above, and they're on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different lists. And why would they do that? Why would they spend? I know people that have spent over $1,000 a month for buying leads, and the reason why is because they know the true value of their time as a buyer. And so they've learned, this is the mindset shift, guys. You learn how to value your time over money. And for some of you, this is like, yeah, I get this. This is where I'm at. And some of you, this will be a big breakthrough, that you've been trying to do everything on your own for so long. And this is, guys, there's some certain things you do to create leverage in your business, and this is one of them. This is one of the ways that people do that. So you got to find a way to leverage systems and lists to get more done in less time, and it's just what all the big time sellers in our industry do, okay? So Grant, let's get into some of the key stuff. And there's all this stuff on the webinar is important today, but this is the part, guys, where you want to pull out a piece of paper and a pen. And we're going to go through some really key selling dates in Q4. And this is the part where we want, if you can be prepared with this can be the difference between having a super profitable, peaceful, fun, exciting Q4, or having one filled with anxiety and fear of loss because you feel like you missed the boat. Okay, I know that feeling well because I feel it every Q4. I get the same feeling you guys do. I'm like, man, I didn't save up enough money. I'm not in a position enough to where I want to be, and I feel it every year because there's never, whether you're starting with $100, 10,000, 100,000, you always feel that way going into Q4. But these are the key dates. This is going to help you guys to remove that overwhelm and help you guys to simplify and have an awesome Q4. So, Grant, you ready, man?
Let's go.
So I'll let you talk through some of these, Grant, because you've your experience on this is a little different. So I'll let you just kind of talk through some of these if you want to.
Yeah. So you want to ship your product into Amazon. We actually just got an email from Amazon. I don't think they sent this out last year, but they're definitely doing some preventative, precautionary type stuff and kind of warning sellers on when they need to get their stuff into Amazon to meet certain deadlines. So if you want to sell your stuff really for Thanksgiving, it needs to arrive. You need to probably ship it out the last week of October so that it's arriving within the first week of November. That way it'll be, in stock and ready to be sold to customers before Black Friday, so you don't miss that rush, because as we all know, or maybe some of us don't, but Thanksgiving is going to be the kickoff essentially for a lot of the sales, and then Cyber Monday is soon to follow after that, and it really just starts to go crazy from that point forward. So.
Okay, so let me clarify, because here we are in the middle of September. We're going to date this recording, and so September and October really are your big months to be sourcing. But you're saying here, Grant, don't start shipping into Amazon FBA until the last week of October, and that's because the storage fees, the 30-day storage fees, go through the roof for Amazon. And is it in October? Is it November and December, or what are the months when they are higher than normal?
Last year it was November, December, and it's funny because I didn't really realize. Just goes to show you that I focus on the first things first when it comes to business. Sourcing was at the first, but I didn't even realize that there was going to be exceptionally higher storage fees in November, December last year. Found out when I looked at my records, and I was like, what in the world? I actually called Amazon and realized, that the 30-day storage fees was exceptionally higher. So I've actually looked at the fees this year. Now they're applying the 30-day, the higher 30-day storage fees in October as well. So October, November, December, they're charging about 5 times the 30-day storage fees for regular size stuff and large stuff. So what I would tell you, though, here's an example of what happened to me last year in October when they did not apply. Now, again, this year they do apply, but in October when I paid my normal 30-day storage fees, and granted I had a lot of stuff in there, my fees were $500. The following month, November, I paid, this is for 30-day storage, I paid $2,500. And then December was $2,200. So that just gives you kind of an idea of how much more it'll cost you. So if you're going to send a lot of product in, which hopefully a lot of us are going to send more product in than we ever have before, then wait until late October, and you can probably avoid the 30-day storage fee for October, obviously, because you're not going to ship it out until late in the month. And then also in November, because I think they apply the fee on the 20th of the month, but I'd have to double check that. You guys can check that in your Seller Central account.
Okay. So just to clarify, here, some of you guys are like, okay, let's just keep it super simple. In September, only send into Amazon what you expect to sell in 30 days, within a month.
Right.
So just use your judgment with the ranks, and you don't want to overflood. And the reason Amazon does this, the reason they charge more for storage fees, is because they get inundated with product. You guys got to understand, Amazon's this massive machine, and it just gets flooded with product these like 3 months of the year. So all you got to do, send in all you're going to sell in September, and then the last week of October, everything else you got, go ahead and shove it in the system. That's what Grant's saying. And then from then on out, you're going to be filling the pipe until some of these other key dates.
Right.
So let me click through here. Second key date here, Grant. Inventory must arrive by November 7th, 2017 for Black Friday. So Black Friday this year, write this down, guys. You're going to put this on your smartphone and double check this. Friday, November 24th is Black Friday. And this comes from Amazon. You could probably get by sending stuff in 2 weeks before.
Right. They're
They're saying, just to be safe, shoot for November 7th. So that means the beginning of November, that, the 1st, the 7th, you want to make sure that you've got all your hauls sent in. And that's also a good thing. So would you say, Grant, since this isn't until November 7th, would it be smart to just stock up in October and buy a bunch of inventory? Do you keep that at your house or like your private warehouse before you, and then just send it in? Or how do you guys treat that?
Yeah, we just keep it inside of our facility. We actually are filling up the top shelves of our racks, and then I've got other storage opportunities too if I need it. But right now we're really starting to buy for Q4 for peak season, which is really kicks off Black Friday.
Okay. So again, these aren't set in stone, guys. There's some wiggle room here, but we're just setting you guys up for success. So follow these dates here. Okay, third key date is inventory must, this is for Christmas now. Inventory must arrive by December 1st, 2017.
Mhm.
And again, our team did some research and found this is from Amazon. I bet you could get away with sending stuff in later. They're just really, I think, trying to communicate to sellers this year to be early. That seems to be the message. Like, they're moving everything up. So, Grant, when are you guys, what's your goal to have inventory sent in for Christmas?
I mean, anything I'm holding right now for peak season, like we talked about, we're going to ship out the last week of October so that it's in Amazon through the better part of November. But then we will be buying and shipping into Amazon like crazy people all the way through the end of November and probably even the first week of December, depending on how Amazon is receiving stuff. So yeah, and of course, Christmas is kind of like the cutoff of peak season, but sales are still good to follow. It's just if you're buying stuff, particularly for Christmas, you want to sell it before Christmas Day. So,
right.
But yeah, we'll be going crazy all the way through November and probably the first week of December.
September, October, November. I hope you guys are seeing the trend here. That's when you want to be busy and getting stuff sent in. So, and Alexander had a quick question. This applies to everybody. He said, does this apply to Christmas or your regular stuff? So this is for the Christmas selling season.
Yep.
So these are key Q4 dates. If you've got, evergreen stuff or replenishables that you source that sells all the time, you can just send those in as normal. The key with your everyday stuff is just don't oversupply more than a month. So you want to shoot to have your turn rate be 30 days or less. You can check an inventory lab to get that data. So this is for Q4. So in the last date, this is something we learned last year. This is for inventory for next year. And I'm not for sure how Amazon does this exactly, but inventory for 2018, they're suggesting that we do not ship it in before December 17th, 2017 to qualify for 2018 selling. So essentially, Amazon is trying to cut down on people. Last year and in the past, we always said just send everything in through Q4. And you definitely want to do that. Sometimes if you ship stuff past the 17th, it won't make it in time for Christmas, and Amazon doesn't want to get a bunch of stuff backed up. So, Grant, are you guys, do you guys just keep sending it in all the way through Q4, or are you stopping at some point?
Well, I think it helps to kind of put things in perspective. We have a very fast turning store. So yeah, we're not going to probably recognize that particular date because we generally buy for the next 30 days anyway. And obviously some stuff sits around a little bit longer than that, but yeah, we'll just keep pounding it out all the way through December, to be honest with you. We just will stop buying and shipping stuff that we want to sell before Christmas, probably like late November to like maybe a couple days into December.
So November, to get in by Christmas, you got to get it in by November. That's just kind of a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, it needs to land at Amazon. Amazon's telling us December 1st it needs to be at FBA, which means that you should be shipping it out the last week of November. We might push the envelope a little bit, but not much further than a few days into December.
Okay, cool. So we kind of camped out on the slide for a second, guys, but I want to make sure you had a chance to write these dates down and you're clear on these because, again, they're going to take away the stress and make this a fun selling season. This should be, there's a lot of people in our group, Grant, that will make more money in these 45 days than they make all year. And so what I get excited about, and I'm stoked about this Q4, some of you guys, and I know this because we see you in the training and things, you do this as a part-time business and you only come around, this time of year. And you kind of hang out in the group, you don't comment on anything, and then all of a sudden you turn into like a super seller. And that's cool. There's no judgment here. But we want to set you up for success. If you're a Q4 warrior, and even if if you're brand new, Grace, if you just started this group, the playing field's even. And one thing, I think the first lesson we all learn in Q4 is you wish you had more. That's always the thing I hear from every seller. I wish I would have had more in there. So whatever your budget is, I'm going to challenge you to bump it up and just stretch yourself. And even if you don't have the money, start asking the questions, how can I get the money? And these are all mindset things to set you up for success. So let's keep going. There's one other seller clause. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, Grant. This is just for brand new sellers, okay? But we want to be upfront. If you've been around the group for 6 months or a year, this doesn't apply to you. But if you are brand new, according to Amazon, in order to participate and sell merchant fulfilled toys and games in Q4, so this is all we're talking about. If you want to do merchant fulfilled toys and games, then you must qualify by selling and fulfilling 25 items, and they can be any item in any category, between September 1st and October 31st. Okay, so grace for you, for example, that basically means I would go find 25 items. I would go through the Scan Everything basic course, learn the basic strategies of scanning, go find 25 items, maybe find 30 or 50 just to be safe, and get them sent in. And they're saying merchant fulfilled. Now, Grant, we've been doing a lot of research on this, and there's some controversy as to how much will Amazon let you sell FBA fulfilled. Which, you know, personally, like, I don't know if you guys do much merchant fulfilled. That's basically when you are shipping stuff into Amazon or shipping stuff to your customer when they purchase. Most people in the group do FBA, and we're not for sure. So if you are a newer seller, here's the best way to be safe. Just get a bunch of stuff sent in right away and keep your metrics up. So respond to questions immediately. You'll get some positive reviews. Just get your account going, and that'll set you up for the best success. We do have some new members, and occasionally Amazon will limit your ability to sell in certain categories, but again, it's only if you're new. And if you are, don't freak out. Just make the best of your selling season, and then just know that for next year, you're going to be equipped and armed for this as well. So cool, man. Grant, the fun stuff, dude. Peak season. And I should have grabbed, I wanted to grab like a skiing picture here on the top of the mountain. This is when, like, it hits. So tell me, what is peak season and what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, so it's interesting because, I mean, last year was the first time we really started to key in on this particular window of opportunity and realize what it is from looking at previous records of my own store and also studying a lot of keepographs. I started to realize that there was this particular window, and that window really, and that window is basically, I mean, Q4 is good. You know, all of November is going to be good. Better than most other months, but the ultimate peak or the ultimate opportunity for Q4 is between Thanksgiving and really just a few days before December or whatever Amazon and UPS shipping speeds are. So if you can sell a product FBA or whatever, ship it to the customer and they can receive it, like 2-day shipping, and they can receive it before Christmas, then you're within peak season still, but you're basically like, you know, that'll be like the last day or something. So anyway, so yeah, peak season kind of kicks off Thanksgiving Day. Obviously, that's when you start seeing like Amazon go out of stock. As a supplier, you start to see Walmart and a lot of other suppliers go out of stock. And don't get me wrong, they're going out of stock all through November. But the real meat and potatoes is during that peak season. What do you got here?
Yeah, I'm pulling up. I'm going off road here. I was going to pull up the screenshot. Where's our original group photo? I want to show you guys what happens in this season that Grant's talking about. This is probably like our first picture. This is just, guys, this is when stuff just gets crazy. So this is basically Thanksgiving through, so that's about what, 5 or 6 week period?
Yeah. Yeah, basically it's actually a little bit less than a month, a little bit less than 30 days. And I would say that the peak of peak season is the 10th of December through really like the 20th of December, maybe the 18th or 19th of December. That's like that week right there is going to be the ultimate peak. That's where pretty much if you got stuff that you intended to, you purchased and intended to resell, before Christmas this year, then you need to get it done that week. And prices you can see there, yeah, that's exactly what happens.
This is what I was trying to find, guys. This is from one of our members, one of our 7-figure sellers. And you can see, I mean, nice sales all throughout and this is what Grant's talking about. You've got like double, triple sales on this window. So this is the end of November here through, this is probably about like December 15th or something like that. You can see it jumps. Yep. So, yeah, cool, man.
A lot of people wait until, after Thanksgiving to start doing their Christmas shopping because that's when they expect to get deals. But what ends up happening is, a couple weeks into, after Black Friday and Cyber Monday, the deals have been had and people still have a lot of shopping to do. And
I'm getting excited, dude. I just felt the first buzz. I feel it. You guys feel the excitement? It's like electricity in the air. So I want to know how many of you guys are ready to have the best Q4 of your life. And the reason I'm asking this question is because there's power in setting your intentions. So type in yes in the chat box if you're ready to have the best Q4 of your life. And let's set some intentions now. I want to set you guys up for prosperity this year. It starts with your mindset, and it starts with you making a declaration that enough's enough. You're going to prosper no matter what, and you're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. Okay, when you reach this point, that's when the magic happens, and a lot of people quit 3 feet from gold. So let's start with some yeses. I see yes from Ann, yes from Jeffrey, yes, exclamation points. Alexander, hell yeah from Linda Weeds. Denise Miller, Linda's got a good question. No doubt this will be our best year ever from Will. Will, I believe you, man. You guys are on fire. Yes, best year ever. Grace, yes. Okay, good. You guys are paying attention. So let me ask a quick question real quick. And then we're going to go on here. Where's Linda here? Linda's, we'll get to that second question. Linda was asking first, Grant, how do you forecast your budget for Q4? She's asking if you use Gary's method of amount you want to sell times 2.25. Do you know that formula?
I don't know the formula. I mean, last year we just pulled out as much money as we could get access to, and we spent it all. I mean, that's my formula. Get money, spend all that money, and then get it all, and then get it all back and pay stuff off.
Well, let's start. I didn't put a slide for this, but Linda, this is a good question. Let me just ask you real quick, Grant. We'll take like 2 minutes and do this. What's the criteria that you're looking for? And then we can just use an example. But when you're doing RA, for example, what are the things your team's looking for to decide if you're going to buy something or not?
Well, I mean, that's the thing about sourcing for Q4 that's different than any time of the year. As we get closer to Christmas, we'll be looking for stuff. We're a little bit looser with our standards. So like generally, I might want to see a 35-40% ROI for most retail arbitrage sourcing throughout the year. But as I get closer to Q4 and I'm looking at a toy that might only have 5 or 10 or 15% ROI, I generally will look at Keepa and see if I can kind of find a reason to pick it up, even though it has a very marginal ROI, because prices go up during the holidays. So my standards and my kind of the things I set for my store or for my sourcing is definitely different during Q4. If that kind of
35 to 40% ROI. I'm assuming you're looking for low rank items. Do you have like a profit amount per item? Like, will you buy something if it has less than $5-10 of profit?
No, I mean, as far as the standards we set for like lists and stuff, obviously the standards are much higher. But as far as my own store, like I'll buy a product that only makes $1 or $1.50 profit if I believe I can, as long as my buy cost has to be pretty low, like $1 to $2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll take the $1 bills all day long, especially if I can buy it in volume, or it'll sell quick.
So this is different for different people. Grant, you're saying, whatever your normal criteria is that you buy, you loosen it up a little bit for Q4, and you'll pick up a dollar bill. Like some sellers won't mess with stuff that's less than $10, but you will. And
I'll pick dollar bills up all year long. It's just that, leading into Christmas, I'm definitely looking for stuff. I'm expecting that a lot of the stuff I'm going to buy is going to ultimately sell for more during peak season because sellers are going to go out of stock. And when that happens, supply goes down. And when supply goes down and the demand is still high, obviously you get to raise your prices and sell stuff for a much higher than what you originally projected.
Okay, cool. We'll circle back on this. There was a request, Grant, for an image of your double rainbow Keepa chart. We'll maybe circle back on that in the Q&A section.
Sure, yeah.
That's it. Cool. Well, let's keep trucking. You guys are set up for success, so congratulations. That's the first step, guys, and you got to expect success. There's something about that in the spiritual laws of the universe that when you expect success, it will find you, and it starts with that mindset. So remember, guys, the number one thing you need to prosper in Q4 is a fresh stream of high-quality, profitable product leads is what we're talking about today, and we're going to show you how to get these. So your job as an Amazon seller is to become a professional buyer. Okay, I want that to really sink in that that's your new job. You're a buyer. So I want to just share very quickly 2 case studies, and then we're going to get into some of these new lead lists that we have. The first case study is we're going to call this Average Joe. And this Average Joe is a brand new seller. He goes out sourcing, spends about 4 hours on a Saturday scanning at Walmart. And he finds a few leads, maybe goes to a couple other stores, maybe a Sam's Club and maybe a Costco, and makes a little money. But then can't find anything else, and does this like once or twice a month, just kind of sticks her toe in the water, and then it's like, hey, this thing doesn't work, and they quit. Okay, again, no judgment. You guys are all winners because you're here on the webinar today and you're active in the group. So this probably isn't you. Most of these people don't even show up to any training, and they don't watch any of the training videos or show up to any of the webinars, and then they wonder why something's broken. So you got to plug into the resource, okay? And it's funny. I just laugh because it's like human nature. So this is person number 1, okay? Person number 2, we're going to call the smart seller. Okay, and this is a picture of Grant. Who's in this picture here?
It's actually Danny McBride and Kenny. Those guys helped me out quite a bit last Q4.
So this was Grant's first team. He's got a 2.0 version of his team now, and it looks here we got a car full of stuff, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 carts. Yeah. So that were full. And look at that, it's like a 8-foot receipt. So some of you guys see these pictures and you're like, how do these guys do it? Like, I'll go to the same Toys R Us and I'm not finding anything. And real quick, do you want to tell a quick story, Grant? I know you were at an event about 1.5 years or 2 years ago, and you felt like this. You're like, you see pictures like this online, and you're like, how do these guys find this stuff? And you met a couple of veteran sellers who sat you down, and they gave you a piece of advice. Do you mind telling that story real quick?
In short, I met a couple of guys in Providence, Rhode Island. They told me, they asked me a few questions about what I was doing in my business and kind of where the struggle was coming from, and they pretty much chalked it up to, man, you're not scanning enough stuff. Like, you need to go into stores, scan more, and don't leave a store. I remember specifically, I'll never forget what he said because I've repeated it 100 times, but don't leave a store without scanning at least 100 items. And if you guys haven't done that before, it's actually not that difficult once you get kind of quicker, at making fast decisions. But yeah, so Scan Everything was kind of born at that moment where, I started to really go out and scan a lot of stuff, and all the way through 2016 and last year. This is essentially the end of last year, this is Q4 of last year, where I started to see things differently. And I think that was a result of scanning a ton of stuff, reviewing, thousands and thousands of keepgraphs. And then, we got to where we could start doing stuff like this. Plus, some good friends in the industry who kind of helped us out in that way as well. So taught us some strategies.
So yeah, I wanted to, it was so real hearing you tell that story, because that's just one tweak. And that's one of many kind of shifts in your business or aha moments where you went from, a scarcity mindset to an abundant mindset. Now you guys have so much, your challenge now isn't how do I find stuff, it's how do I have enough capital to buy everything that I find, which is the second challenge that most sellers have. So here's case study 2. These are smart sellers. That's what we're calling this group. And smart sellers leverage paid lists instead of trading time for dollars, scanning thousands of SKUs. That's the short answer. You want to know how guys like this go to the store and pull out profits? They create what's called hot list, okay? And I would write this down. And they subscribe to list. That we also have VAs and people internally that create it, but you create a hot list so that when you go into a store, you know what you're looking for before you even go in. Okay, and that's where the value of having Grant's team and some of the paid lists that we're going to offer you guys this year. Grant's team has already done the work. They've already scanned everything in Toys R Us, and they're going to continue scanning everything for Toys R Us. And those of you guys that get on our Toys R Us list this year, you're going to get the fruit, the top 100 leads from that, and get to buy the same stuff. So that's one of the shortcuts. And I didn't realize this when I first got in this industry, Grant. I thought the top sellers were doing all this extra work, and the reality is the top sellers actually do less work. And they develop teams that go out and do the sourcing, and they use lists and teams. And that's how you've afforded. I know you used to go out sourcing, and you guys would drive 3 hours. Sounds like an old man. 3 hours both ways. You literally drive 3 hours both ways because you guys live like in the mountains to go sourcing. And now you get to be at home, and your second son was just born. I mean, what does it mean? What's it meant for you, dude, to be able to be at home with your kid when you got these systems set up?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I still work really hard, but it's on a recliner.
Someone just threw a snowball at you through the chat.
It's on a recliner instead of running around inside the stores. But I'm getting ready to kind of jump back out there. Every once in a while I'll do a little sourcing, but come this next week, every Thursday, I'm going to be out with Taylor and possibly another day of the week as well. And we're going to be sourcing Toys R Us. We're going to scrape that store better than we did last year. And I'm pretty excited about that because we kind of got a late jump on Toys R Us last year. This year we're starting, like I said, next week. So we're already finding stuff, by the way, at Toys R Us that's going to be good for Q4. So we're gonna build a great list, and then we're gonna keep making it better all the way through November.
So you're getting excited, dude. You're gonna scrape that place clean. We're gonna scrape it clean, and then we're gonna give you guys the cheat sheet so you can go in your local market and just go pull profit out of Toys R Us. Some of you guys pulled out from last year's list 5,000, 10,000 plus in profit just from this one list alone. So, all right, guys. without further ado, I'm excited this is the world premiere sneak peek at our brand new Q4 lead list. And I can't emphasize this. This is the cheat codes. This is like having the cheat codes to your favorite video game, except for this video game spits out $100 bills from your Amazon account. And some of you guys are going to use these lists to add a 0 to your Amazon payout this year. And that's how powerful these are. These lists, and we're going to explain what these are. I'm going to take a few minutes now and just go through what these lists are, and then we're going to open these up on a first come first serve basis because there is a limited amount of spots for these Q4 lists, and once they're gone, they're gone. That's it. And the reason we limit the number of people on these lists from our group is that you that participate get the most bang for your buck. Yep. So we're going to cap all these lists at 50. We already have 19 of them spoken for. So next Friday, and I'll explain how this works. Write this down. Next Friday, it's September 22nd, 2017 at 11 a.m. Central is when the early bird list link is going to go out, and then we'll open these up probably for a very limited time. They'll most likely sell out very quickly, and then we will close them and then focus on those of you guys in Q4. So, Grant, you ready to go through this, man? This has been a labor of love here.
Absolutely, I'm ready to go.
All right, man. Well, list number 1, guys, this is our bread and butter. We got more good feedback about this list last year than anything else we did. This is our Toys R Us top 100 list. We're calling it the True List for Toys R Us, okay? These are our top 100 premium Toys R Us leads. So this is Grant and his team having scraped all of Toys R Us last year, and then now all the way through the end of November, scraping and scanning everything in Toys R Us and delivering to you on a silver platter the top 100 premium RA leads. This is the first hot sheet. You can run into Toys R Us, pull out profits, and it's going to save you a ton of time. So we've broken this into the top 100 leads, but we've got a red list of 50 and a green list of 50. And for those of you guys that get the lead vault, we'll explain. You get both of them, but there's plenty of leads on each one of these. So these leads are harvested by Grant and his team, basically scanning everything in Toys R Us for the past 2 seasons. And this list is the fruits of that labor. And the cool thing about this list too, Grant, I like to refer to this as like the gift that keeps on giving, because when you buy the list this season, some of these things come back next year for a repeat appearance, and you have a head start on those because you'll know based on this year's data what sells good.
Yep.
Okay, so here's how this is going to work though, and then we've got an example of one of these leads, and I'm going to let Grant walk you through it, and then we're actually going to give away one of these leads live to you guys on the webinar. So you want to pay attention to this part so we can show you how to get this, and please just keep this between us, okay? Don't share this outside the group. Don't share it with people that aren't on the webinar. This is your little gold nugget for showing up. So here's how this works. There's 50 members per list. Full transparency, 19 spots are taken. This is taken by TAP members, some select platinum members, and then those of you that got the event special in Louisville, you guys have these spots. We only have 31 seats left, and once those fill up, they're full. There's no like other lists that are coming out or whatever. This is what it is, okay? The price for each list, it's $220 per list, so $220 for red, $220 for green. Or if you sign up for the lead vault, you get both for $400 as part of the lead vault package, and we'll explain how that works. So Grant, I want to talk through an example because some people say Toys R Us. I want to know like what actually is a lead. What does it look like? So this is a lead. You want to go ahead and talk us through this particular one, and then I can go offline and show this here.
Yeah. So just talk about what's on the slide here.
Yeah, just what is this Power Ranger Dino Supercharge action pack?
Right. So this is just an example of something we bought last year. This is probably one of the items that we did better on than some other ones. I think we bought 13 units of it, and I wish I had bought 40 or 50. The first thing you're going to notice about this lead is it's a Toys R Us exclusive, so that's kind of like a big tip right there. Okay. If it's exclusive to the store, then there's limited availability, right? So that's something to be looking out for when you're at Toys R Us or really anywhere, right? Walmart has exclusives, Kmart will have exclusives, Target will have exclusives. So always kind of keep an eye out for those stickers when you're in the major retail stores to see if you can find it. This particular one, I'm not sure if you're going to find this in stores this year. Power Rangers was a little, pretty hot, leading into Q4 last year, and they're actually still kind of doing well. And like I said, who knows? We might have some different Toys R Us toys. Anyway, we bought this particular set for $49.99. We sold them on average for $116, so we made about $42 a piece. When I bought them, I don't know if I can share my screen, but if you guys do go look at this and analyze Keepa, we were buying these probably October, November, and you can see. Let me get back here.
Go ahead and grab the screen recording, and then we can just go have you show what happened last year.
Should I change presenter?
Let's see here. How do we do that? Yeah. Let me click it here, and I'll go to Grant. Okay, it should flip over to you. We'll just do this real quick, and then we'll go back through because we got two other goodies to go through.
Yep, real quick. Can you guys see my screen?
Give me 1 second. Yep, I can. So yeah, walk us through this, man.
Cool. So I'm just going to zoom up real quick on the Keepa graph. I'm looking at this particular toy. And you can see we were buying them back here where they were selling really for like maybe on the high side, $79, which is profitable, but not nearly as profitable as they ended up being around this point here. Okay. You can see during peak season, essentially, and this is again what I talked about where that ultimate window is between the 10th and the 20th here. You can see where FBA is recorded at $129. So we might have sold some of them for $129 and some of them for $99, but we averaged $116. So right here at Rev Seller up at the top, and again, I don't know if you're going to find these. It looks like they're pretty hard to find, as you can see from the current data, right? Like they're probably not.
The price jumped up to like almost $200.
Oh yeah, and one sold. I mean, for $250. So, I mean, if you can find these, they're definitely worth buying. I would certainly pick them up, but they might be pretty difficult this year. But don't worry, because there'll be other things very similar. So anyway, like I said, there's the Toys R Us logo, and something I'll just encourage you as far as like sourcing Toys R Us, and you'll obviously see this type of stuff on the list. But action figures are killer. Anything movie related. Think about what's hot now, what's coming out, in the coming months, what just recently came out as far as like movies and popular TV shows, children's cartoons, stuff like that. Like all of those types of figures and characters are going to be worth investigating. So anyway, that's this one.
So when you're finding this, how much are you buying this for? How much were you buying this for last year?
Yeah, so we bought it for $49.99, and that's not including like discounts either. So right. So I think we must have probably bought them. We might not have picked these up on a Thursday. I think if they were $49.99, if we would have picked them up on a Thursday, we would have saved $5. But then you also got some other discount stuff that we will be sharing with everybody. So
yeah. Okay. Cool, man. So that's pretty simple. It's just an example of one of the types of products, and these are. I mean, this is just one of them. We've got 100 plus, and we like to under-promise, over-deliver. So last year, just keep an eye out for these guys. The Power Rangers Dino Supercharged Charge Up Action Pack. Right. It's a mouthful. And I just posted a link in the chat box for all of you guys too. So save that and then write that name down and keep an eye out for those guys in the future. That's an example of what these are. And then, Grant, I want to ask before I go on to the next list, are these are all retail arbitrage lists or leads, but can you find some of these sometimes online? Like, do these end up turning into online leads too?
Yeah, I do feel like the online store ends up going out of stock a little sooner too. That's the advantage of going into your brick and mortar is there's a better opportunity of finding more unique items and maybe some stuff that's out of stock on ToysRUs.com. But yeah, a lot of these leads I'm sure you can cross source, take from the retail list and search them on Toys R Us.
So just, do a double check. And what I would do is I would do a Google search too. Just put parentheses around the name of it and just see who else might have it. So these are leads that we found in Toys R Us, but that doesn't mean you might find them from some other weird places that you can find them. And when Toys R Us sells out, that's when the price jumps up. So just keep an eye out for stuff like this, okay?
Yep.
So that's the Toys R Us list. That's retail arbitrage, good for beginners, good for advanced, just good all-around leads. And so our second list as part of the lead vault is our Amazon out of stock OA list, okay? Now, before some of you guys go into hyperventilation about an Amazon to Amazon flip, there's right ways and wrong ways to do these. And Grant, I know you've made a lot of money with Amazon flips. You've lost some money. But just out of curiosity, what did you guys pull in last year from some of the leads on this list?
Yeah, so we actually did this for the first time last year with 3 leads that really we kind of stumbled on by mistake. And between the 3, we've made, it could have even been a little over $4,000 in profit. And so two of them I think, or one of them I bought 60 units of, the other one I bought 50 units of, and then the other one I only bought 3. and wished I had bought a lot more of all three of those. And so that's really what kind of like kind of got me in that mode this year. Like I thought, well, how can I find more of these types of flips? Because out of everything we sold during November and December, these two are really two of these three flips, because of volume. The other one would have done just as well, but I only had three of them. So, but these basically perform better than any of the other inventory that we sold through Q4. So, well, how do I find more of these, right? And so I basically built a team, built a process, and that's how we've basically accumulated this entire list for these Q4 Amazon out of stock flips. So essentially what we're looking at is stuff that Amazon sells on, right? And not just Amazon. I mean, it could be something that Walmart carries, and oftentimes it does. It's Walmart carries it, Target might carry it, or even Toys R Us. But if you look at the Keep a Graph history, you can see that Amazon has a habit of going out of stock during peak season or during November and December, and so we're capitalizing on those types of products. So these flips that I did really well on last year, we literally bought it right off of Amazon, had it shipped to our facility, turned around and shipped it right back to FBA, and they ended up being the standout products of the season. So for us.
So yeah, so these are higher risk leads but higher return. And so it depends on what your risk level is. Grant, you guys pulled in, we were conservative. You think upwards of $4,000 on just 3 of these SKUs. So just 3 of these, and there's 100 plus of them. Right. You could more than double or triple pay for the lead vault with these leads. And these are the same things that Grant's buying in his business. In fact, when Grant and I talked about this, I originally had to twist his arm and really kind of enroll Grant in offering these, because his first thought was he's like, dude, I would love to offer lead list, but this is like my $1 million business. Yeah. Like if I sell a lead list for 200 or 300 or 400 bucks, that's great, but I can go make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on those leads. And so this is really, I want you guys to get this. This is really an act of generosity. We just want to hook you guys up for Q4, but that's where these come from. These come straight out of Grant's business. So same as the other list, you can buy on Amazon. These are online arbitrage. So the benefit to this list is you can stay at home. One caveat, okay, very important, write this down. Anytime you buy an Amazon to Amazon flip, where you're buying a product from Amazon, waiting for Amazon to go out of stock and then sending it back in, you want to buy that on a separate Amazon account. So not your seller's account, but open up a second account, a non-Prime account. So write that down. A lot of you guys already know this, but if you're new sellers, this is important. Make sure you're buying from a separate non-Prime account, because Amazon's terms does not allow us to buy Amazon Prime and then sell to Amazon Prime, because they know what we're doing here. Right. And a lot of people might ask, Grant, like, why would Amazon sell for cheaper if they could sell for more later? And the short answer is cash flow. Amazon knows if I can liquidate these now, they can take that money and roll it into other things. And you guys got to understand this. We're really doing Amazon a huge favor. If we're buying a lead from them, Amazon's making money. And then if we're sending it back into Amazon, they're also making money on the FBA fees. And then when it sells, they're making profit on that again. So they're getting paid all around this whole wheel, and we're doing all the work. So it's actually, they should be actually giving us a commission for doing these Amazon flips, I think, for some of these pieces. But here's how this list will work. Same as the RA list. There's 50 people on a list. We've got 19 spots taken, 31 left. The list will be 350 individually. We've got a blue list of 50 leads and a yellow list of 50, and they're unique leads for each list, so you won't get double. If you're a power seller, like the Wheats and different people, you're probably going to want both of them, because you guys will buy through all of these. And we give you a little discount when you buy through the lead vault, okay? So Grant, I know we've got an example of one of these as well, just to give people an example of what this is. And this is the Bugs in the Kitchen children's board game, okay? So this is free lead number 2 for you guys today. So write this down, Bugs in the Kitchen children's board game. And then Grant, I'll go ahead and flip the screen back to you if you want to talk through this one as well. Let me flip through here. Grant Dunn. Let's see what's up with the Bugs in the Kitchen here.
Let me know when you can see it.
All good, man.
All right, so on this particular one, Amazon, hold on, my computer is dragging. Bear with me here. Well, anyway, really dragging. I can't even scroll. Okay, here we go. 23.15. So you can see Amazon's down here at 23.15 for the buy cost. It's ranked 4,400 in Toys and Games. This is one of the 100 that we're talking about, by the way, you guys. We're always going to be overly generous. Like Gabe said, we under promise, over deliver all the time. So there will be more than what we, just so you know, there's always a little bit extra. But you can see here, I'll go to we're down looking at Keepa here, and there's 961 days of history. I'm going to get the rank thing off of here so it's easier to see. But you can see in 2015, Amazon went out of stock or started to go out of stock November 28th, so right after Thanksgiving. And at the peak, it was selling merchant fulfill without, we don't know what FBA was selling in 2015, but probably more than $50, okay? And so again, you're looking at something you can buy for around $20, sell it for $50 when Amazon goes out of stock. If you look here, I'll just zoom up on the peak season of last year. Amazon went out of stock the first time around the 10th through the 12th of December. And you guys, this is a pretty low rank. So like, let's look at sales rank at 5,000-6,000 in Toys and Games. If you guys have, this is like a small window right here, but if you guys have like 10, 20, 30 units and you're the low FBA, they're going to sell very quickly during this time of year. Like they're just going to fly off the shelf. You can see that rank line is just flat, right? Whenever you see that, you know that sales are happening way more consistently than if you look here in January, where the rank isn't that much lower, but you see these big spikes. That's because sales are happening that much less. And then once again, Amazon goes out of stock the 23rd, so kind of late in the season, right? So this would kind of, if you hadn't sold them here, you get a little nervous around this point. But again, here's even a little window right there, right, where you could sell them for around $50. But essentially what you're looking at is buying it from Amazon for around $20. You can also see that Amazon sometimes sells it for less, so like $15.99 here if you set your Keepa alert, right? So if I go to track product, surprisingly don't have this one tracked, but let's say I wanted to find this when Amazon goes below $21, and I can get an alert when Amazon does come into stock, or excuse me, lower the price below their $23.45 right now, or whatever,
okay,
or whatever. But you can see there's opportunities. If you're setting your price drops, you could potentially pick this product up from Amazon for as low as $11.89 historically, right? So,
so how many of these in this particular? And this is another free one off the list, guys. This is just a sample. I mean, you get 100 of these with the Amazon out of stock list. But how many of these would you be buying? I don't know. That's a budget question, but how do you guys determine that?
Yeah, it's definitely relative to budget. Right now, I think Amazon's limiting to 3. You might be able to buy more than 3. I don't know, but oh wait, this is not a different seller. Amazon's probably limiting it to 3 per customer. But we're gonna buy. I mean, here's the deal: when you got 100 of these types of leads, you can buy. Let's say you bought 10 of each. Well, that's a pretty substantial amount of investment across 100 different leads. But there's going to be some that you're going to see on this list. You guys, I pulled this particular lead, kind of right out of the middle of the list. So you can imagine that the other 50, they're that much better. Some of them have over 200% ROI. But I've gone through on the list and like done a bunch of research to figure out like what is the average price you should expect to sell them for and all of that. And by the way, if you look at FBA here, I mean, this is something that could potentially sell. I mean, $100 is kind of a high asking price, but it certainly would sell at 50, 60, $70. We're probably going to buy like 10 of these. Based on the data that we have here, probably buy 10. You can buy them from Walmart too. This particular one, you can buy from Walmart, and I think maybe 1 or 2 other retailers. So,
okay, cool. I was just curious. So you want to go wide with some of these leads, but this is just an average lead off the list. This isn't. There's some really good ones on there, and this is kind of middle of the pack. So,
yep.
Cool, man. Let me flip back here, and we got just a couple. one more list to share, guys, and then we'll share with you guys. I know some of you are asking in chats, what is the lead vault? How much is it? How do I get it? So we'll answer all those questions here in the next just couple minutes. This is the Amazon out of stock list. We talked about the benefit to being an OA lead, and last but not least, the best graphic of the day, Grant, our brand new beta OA Cheddar list. We're calling this the Cheddar. And I couldn't find an image that had money and cheese in the same picture. But this is the OA Cheddar list. It's a beta list. You can't buy this, and this hasn't been for sale. The only people that have had access to this are TAP members and certain platinum members, and then those of you, a select few of you that were at the summit. So this is an online arbitrage list, and you guys have been asking for an OA list, and we pulled some of our lead lists down earlier this year to concentrate on building this, and this list is the product of that focus. And I'm going to explain what these are. These are daily leads, Monday through Friday, online arbitrage leads. So you can source them from home. Okay, a lot of you have been asking, a lot of you work full-time jobs or other businesses, and you've said, I've got an hour or two a day to source. The OA Cheddar list will be bread and butter for you in pulling out profits through Q4. Okay, these are leads that are harvested by our team of virtual assistants and software, so it's a combination of both. We have a proprietary system we've developed. That way you only get the best OA leads. So we're like cherry picking the best ones off and delivering it to you on this OA Cheddar list. And unlike our other lists, we're not, there's no like minimum amount of leads. You're not gonna, you know, we can't promise there'll be 100 or 200 leads per month. What we can promise is the leads that make it on are primo. So this list, we changed strategies from some of the feedback we got last year, and you guys don't care about quantity, you just want the best of the best leads. And so that's what we're doing here. And these are stuff that we hand select from our team, and we serve them to you on a silver platter. So same as the other list, there's 50 spots total in the OA Cheddar list, 19 are taken, there's 31 left. And full transparency, okay, this list is currently not for sale to the group, so you cannot buy this list. The only way you can get on this new beta OA Cheddar list is as a bonus when you sign up for the lead vault. And we're not going to be selling this list, we're going to be giving it to you guys. But Grant, what can you say about the OA Cheddar list, man? I know we got an example here, but what are these leads?
Yeah, so basically we're looking for a 40% ROI at a minimum. It needs to sell, make at least a $5 minimum profit, and then also 10 sales per month if it's just like a general type listing. If it's a clothing and shoe type listing, it has to have 50 sales per month based on Jungle Scout. So we're trying to have this, set the standards, decently high, for the industry standard. And basically Monday through Friday, these leads are added to the sheet, and I'm getting good feedback. A lot of the TAP members that have been going through the leads are currently buying from this list and selling their products from this list. So I had some great feedback, and we're just continuing to try to make it better. And so that's what we're looking for is really, one, we want to deliver great leads, and then we also need feedback on how to make it better through the end of the year. But it should get exciting. I mean, anytime you start, the closer we get to Q4, there should be some pretty exciting leads that get dropped onto that list through the end of the year. So,
yeah. So walk me through the numbers on this one. Again, this is just a freebie off the OA list, guys. So this one is different than the Amazon out of stock leads because you're buying it from third-party websites. So This one in particular, what is this thing? Lavalin. Some of you ladies are laughing at me here. I don't know what this stuff. This is underarm deodorant cream. Okay, I don't know what this stuff is here, but I know it's selling for 28 bucks on Amazon, and I know we can buy it for $11.69. Right. So what would be your profit on this one, Grant?
You'd make an 83% ROI if you sold it at $28.93. There's currently no FBA, but I checked the seller app. You can certainly sell at FBA. You can see there's FBA offers that used to be in here around the $16 mark, but yeah, currently. This thing sells anywhere. If you go look at Keepa, it sells anywhere between $20 and even $30. It's been as low as $16 at certain times, but I think even if we set it at 16.
Here, go ahead and show. Let me flip it to you. I'll go ahead and let you show this part real quick.
All right. So 28 bucks. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
So here's the listing on Amazon. It's got a high rank in beauty, but that's because the price is kind of high. So this is the type of product that I would probably send in a little lower, around like 23, 24 bucks, which is still, but that's because I'm aggressive. Some of you might buy a few and want to sit at the $28 mark and see how you do. But, it's a good lead. The break-even point is $18 or $17.50. You can see that's kind of like the historical low that it sold for, just a little bit less, actually, around $16. But then the price immediately went back up. So it's kind of like one of those hard to find type items, is my guess. But yeah, order off of Urbos. And this is just one example. This is essentially, guys, this is all I did last night is went and found the most recent lead that he had dropped last night and grabbed it. So
this is just the last one off the line. So we didn't pick through any stuff. So these will vary. Go ahead, man.
I was just going to say on the list, we're scraping Kohl's, we're scraping, CR Trading Post and a bunch of other places. So this will be good. for clothing items. It's good for gated brands. And that's actually something I think I'm going to adjust a little bit and try to get the scrapers to, kind of focus a little bit more on stuff that might be ungated. And then we'll be, on ToysRUs.com, like really heavy. So if it's not on my Toys R Us list for retail arbitrage, there's definitely going to be Toys R Us leads for OA for sure.
For sure, man, for sure. So, guys, so this is good stuff here. We have Kim just commented. She said these are some good finds I have purchased and sent in. Grant and his team are making the list better. So Kim's in tap, and she's been buying these leads, and you can kind of attest to that. We'll pull out a couple other testimonials at the end here. But just to clarify real quick, I want to back up real quick. Mary, she asked, is 25 sales required in September, October required for FBA sellers or only merchant fulfilled? So Mary, you're gonna have to double check that. To my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, it's just for merchant fulfilled, but I would double check that. I would do a Google search and double check that just to be positive. So,
yep.
Cool, man. Well, we showed the example. That's another freebie, guys. You can buy it on Urbos and just bookmark that site, and then you can send it into Amazon, and you can do this all day long. 40% profit on the list. So. All right, guys, so here's the lead vault, okay? I couldn't find a better picture than just dumping gold $100 bills right in front of you guys, and so that's kind of what Grant and I are doing here. We're pouring out the abundance. You just got to bend over and pick up those ones, tens, fives, hundreds, 50s, thousands, 5,000s, 10,000. You just got to do the work. So here's what the lead vault is, and we're going to wrap up today with this and then take questions for a couple minutes here. You get everything, basically. We put it all together in one awesome mega package. It's called the Lead Vault. You get the Toys R Us red and green list, so both RA leads, $500 value. You get the Amazon out of stock top 100. You can buy from Amazon, send back into, and there's a blue list of 50 leads and a yellow list of 50 leads. You get both of those. And then also, and this is the only way you can get this, is you can get on our new beta OA Cheddar list. That's that online arbitrage leads that Grant was just showing us, and we're calling this our straight up OA leads. I got to find like a gangster mouse or something that's like straight up OA leads. Monday through Friday. We're not going to be selling this in the group probably till after Q4. So the only way you can get this is when you get on the lead vaults. You'll have access to these leads from now all the way through Q4, so all the way through December 31st, 2017. And if you love them by then, which you probably will, it'll just be a flat $149 per month thereafter, as long as you want to stay a member. Like everything we do, there's no contract, so you're free to leave whenever you go. If you do jump off the list, though, we will open your spot up to the next person on the waiting list, and that's just the only way to keep it fair. So this is the lead vault, but there's two very special bonuses we're tossing in, and this is to reward you for taking action when we open the cart on this in 1 week. Okay, and the first bonus is a special video. It's a Toys R Us sourcing guide that's going to teach you how to source at Toys R Us during the holidays. It's a PDF plus a video training. And basically, this is Grant walking you through how to fish for your own leads. So a lot of people love the list because we do it for you, but we also want to empower you to fish for yourself so that next year you know how to go out and find these leads yourself. And you can use this strategy to go out. You could easily pull out $1,000, $2,000 a day out of these stores doing this. And I know, Grant, you guys make these hauls all the time. Just out of curiosity, when you guys go and apply this strategy, how much, what will you guys pull out of Toys R Us in an afternoon when your guys go?
Last season, I mean, we were probably pulling $2,000 to $5,000 per store. You know, pretty much.
Profit or sales?
Oh, that was just how much we were spending per store. I think last year we made like I can't remember. I want to say it was like $8,000 or $8,500 in profit we made from our sales at Toys R Us during the peak season.
I mean, you guys just crush it with this, and so we just peel back the curtain. This bonus, guys, is not available with anything else. It's not in scan everything. It's not a part of anything else. The only way to get this and learn this strategy is if you're a member of TAP. Or if you get the lead vault, and this will be coming out real soon. So that's bonus number one. Super excited for you guys to learn this stuff.
Yep. Bonus
Bonus number two is the same thing, but we're going to teach you how to find your own Amazon out of stock leads. Okay, and this is easily, we put a $2,000 to $20,000 value. Grant, how much money did you guys make off Q4 Amazon flips last year? Do you remember?
Right, yeah, on the two, I think it was, well, it was just short of $4,000. The two that were the standout because I bought more volume of them. Like I said, 50 of one and 60 of the other. Between the two of them, we made right around $3,500 in profit. And like I said, I was, kicking myself because I had wished I had bought about 2 or 3 times as many units as I had. So it easily could have been $10,000 just from 2 leads. So yeah, and yeah, so and I think we were talking about this before the call. If a person has a $20,000 budget, of course you need to have a big budget, like $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. If you were to put about 20,000 into this one strategy, unless you're very experienced and you're very comfortable doing more than that. But I do believe that a person with that kind of budget could easily sink 20 grand into this one list, and do very well, as long as they're very strategic. And of course, we'll be teaching that for the people who buy the lead vault, how to make a strategic plan as far as how to buy these.
Yeah, and there's strategy with it. That's why we like to accompany some training with it. So just this list alone, guys, if all you did was this, you could go out and crush it. And for some of you guys, making an extra 2 to 20 grand this Q4 would be life-changing. And some of you guys are just one decision away from having that happen too, which is why it's so exciting.
Right.
So here's the lead vault, guys. We put it all together in one package. The Toys R Us red and green list, the Amazon out of stock top 100 OA leads, that's the blue list and the yellow list, the new beta OA Cheddar list. These are the premium online arbitrage leads. That's going to run through December 31st. You'll get us to walk with you all the way through Q4. And then both bonus videos. So bonus video number 1, which is the Toys R Us sourcing guide, teaching you how to find your own Toys R Us deals during the holiday. And then the Amazon out of stock Q4 sourcing guide. So how you can find your own Amazon out of stock leads. And just those 2 videos alone, guys, if you never bought a single lead off the list, would be more than worth double the price of what we're going to ask for the lead vault. And the reason we're keeping this affordable is because we just want to hook you guys up. There's no other way around that. We could have packaged it into some super high-end thing, but we just want you guys to have it, and that's why we're doing this. The season is now. So there's 2 options to get the lead vault. I'm going to cover this very quickly, and then we're going to open this up for questions before we dump out these gold nuggets. I love the visual. It's just that's like what we're doing here. Okay, option number 1. This is where it's a one-time payment for the whole lead vault. This is best for intermediate and experienced Amazon sellers. So if you're a brand new person, unless you want to just ball out hard and just crush it, you could just chill on this one. But option 1 is for those. You get basically everything. You get all the lists. You get all the bonuses as one big package deal. You get the Toys R Us red list, the Toys R Us green list. You get the Amazon out of stock blue list, the Amazon out of stock yellow list. And you also get the new beta OA Cheddar list for the next, I think, 3 some months, all the way through Q4. And you get all 5 of these lists plus the 2 bonus videos for one payment of $15.47. And you can take this, and I believe some of you will buy this. Some of you bought the lead list last year and have went off, and we sent us videos of making $10,000, $20,000 from these leads. So we're just serving up. So that's option 1. You just get the whole enchilada. One-time payment, you'll have all these lead lists plus the training. You'll know exactly where to start in Q4. Okay, option number 2, we're still going to pour out the bucket, but we're going to pour it out in a little different way. So option number 2 is really best for beginners. And if you're balling on a budget, like I get it, we've all been there. Grant, you've balled on a budget. I've balled on a budget. I did it for many years. And sometimes you're like, man, $1,500, that sounds like a steal for some of you, and some of you think, wow, I'm just trying to get this thing going. So if you're a beginner, we want to hook you up too, and we decided to make this available on each list on an a la carte basis, meaning you can pick and choose which list you want, and we'll help answer some questions and help guide you to what would be the best list to start with, and we'll talk about that in a second. But here's the caveat, is we only have room for 31 Lead Vault members. We have 50 total, 19 are taking, and we're giving priority to the list to Lead Vault customers first. So if all 31 Lead Vault customers sell out next Friday, there will be no a la carte, as an example. If we sell 30 and there's 1 spot open, you can pick and choose, and we'll sell those a la carte until they're full as well. So same pricing, Toys R Us, it's $220 per list for the red list, for the green list, $350 for the Amazon out of stock blue list. That's the gold that Grant was just talking about. $350 for the Amazon out of stock yellow list, and we're limiting that to 50 members as well. And the only difference with option 2 is you can't get the OA Cheddar list. So this list is not available for sale. You can't buy it. It's only available for Lead Vault customers. And again, the reason we're doing that is we want to reward you for taking action and giving us feedback on the early beta list, because we want to make this thing the most valuable OA list in the industry. And the only way to do that is to get y'all's feedback and to see you guys get results. So here's the two options. We're going to make this very simple, and then I'm going to explain to you exactly how to get these lists when we open it up. Option one, you get everything. Option two, you can pick and choose from the Toys R Us list and the Amazon out of stock list. So Toys R Us is retail arbitrage. You can also do OA with those. And then the Amazon out of stock leads, you can buy from Amazon and send it back in. You can buy one of them, you can buy all of them, just whatever you want. First come, first serve. Again, the big caveat, and here's what you do to get started. We're gonna open these lists up next Friday, which is September 22nd, 2017 at 11 a.m. Central, and we only have room for 31 spots left, and it's first come, first serve. This is the only way that we could keep this fair for the list. We're gonna do this one time, guys, in Q4, and then we're closing this down, and we're gonna focus on training and helping you guys capitalize and maximize on these leads. So all you have to do to get on the early bird list, we're gonna send you guys first notification about this. We'll give you first crack. It's the only way we can keep this fair. Just go to sellersecrets.com/lead-vault. Okay, sellersecrets.com/lead-vault. When you go to that page, you can sign up to be notified, and we'll be posting in the group about this next week, but you've got a full week, and the next Friday we will open this up at 11 a.m. Central. And the best way to be notified is to put your name, email, and phone number on this waiting list, and then you'll be on the waiting list, and we will send an email to this particular list first to give you guys first dibs, and before we open it up to the main community, if there even is leads left after that. So at this point, here's what you need to do. Go to this link, sellersecrets.com/lead-vault. Put in your name and email, and then set a reminder on your smartphone. So pull out your iPhone or Android or whatever you're working with here, and set a reminder for next Friday the 15th, 2017 at 11 a.m. Central, and then look in your email at that time for the registration link, and we will send it to you in advance. And you guys will have that first hour to sign up, and then we will be posting it to the main group probably about an hour later, so probably about noon that afternoon. And we're going to do a hangout that day too to help answer questions and go through things. But for those of you guys that are ready, and you know you want this, and you know this is going to save you a tremendous amount of time, you know this is the gold nugget you've been looking for, go ahead and get signed up on the waiting list at sellersecrets.com/lead-vault. And then we're going to hang out for just a couple minutes here and take some questions for you guys. And I saw a couple that have already come in. And let me just go ahead and pull this up in here. First one, I want to circle back with Grant. I had this question come in, and people are asking about priority. What if somebody just buys a la carte? Who gets priority on these leads? So to answer this question, what we're going to do to keep it fair is anybody who invests in getting the lead vault and getting that whole mega package, you guys get first dibs. So if we have a bunch of those lead vaults come in, and then a couple other a la carte stuff, and then some more lead vaults, the lead vaults get to skip in line basically, and they get first dibs. So we may end up pulling some people off the list if that happens. That's the only way to keep it fair. That's how we're going to do that. There was another question. This question came through Grant. Why are there only 31 spots? So, and we spent a lot of time talking through how to protect the integrity and exclusivity of this list. So why did we limit this to 50? You mind tackling this one?
I mean, that's just it. I mean, first, like Gabe said it earlier on the call, I mean, I was reluctant even to give these leads away because the original purpose was just to create an abundance of opportunity for my own business. And then as I talked to Gabe about it, looked at it, was like, man, this could help a lot of people, really crush Q4. And so, we definitely want to share, but we also want to protect these assets by limiting exposure. And that's how we do that. We have to have a cap on how many people, how many eyeballs are going to see these leads. And that's why we'd ask you guys also to be, to be fair to the other people who are investing into the list, be fair to me and Gabe, who, we put a lot of time and money into creating these lists. Don't go share them outside. If don't try to, don't buy these and then go give them away to other people or go sell them to other people, because that's the whole point. You're not just taking from us, you're taking from every other customer who is expecting to, have some exclusivity on these leads. So anyway, it just protects the asset, you know what I mean? And it protects the lead from saturation. And we figured 50 was a good number to cap it out at. So, I mean, think about it. We could easily sell this to 60, 70, 100 people and make a lot more money. But that would kind of defeat the purpose of having, it would devalue the leads. So we won't do that.
Yeah, we've talked about this, guys. There's other leads in our industry lead list where there's 100 or 200 people on that. And from a lead list provider perspective, that's good news because it doesn't cost us any more. We've already done the work to harvest these leads, so our costs are fixed. But we do that just to hook you guys up. Everything we do in this group is for you. And for you guys that were at the summit, you got to see that firsthand. All these lead lists and everything is just to support you in your journey. Otherwise, it's way easier, way less work for us not to offer the lead list and just to keep them for ourselves and make money. But that's not the point of our family. So I want to pull up, if we got other questions, go ahead and put your questions in the chat box. If you guys have any questions, we'll hang out for just a couple minutes about how this is going to work. We're going to open the list next Friday. I want to pull out Devin and ask Devin for a testimony on some of these because he's been buying these and seeing these leads in private for the past 6 months. We've been beta-ing these leads. So I'm going to go ahead and Devin, let me go ahead and see if I can unmute you, D-Train. Devin, are you with us, man?
Hey, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, buddy. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm actually packing a few boxes, listening to you guys in the background. My the lady who preps my inventory, her cat is at the vet, and I said, you know what, just go ahead and spend some time with your cat. Get on over there, and I'll take care of the day. And listening to this stuff, man, there's so much just incredible value. Grant, he actually gave me 2 of those leads. I think he gave me all 3 last year, and like he said, you guys picked up on that. He said he bought them on accident or something like that. Just kind of like, we'll just buy these. It'll probably work out. And then he told me, he's like, you should probably buy a few of these too. And yeah, that was one of my best sellers, just one of the leads. And I restocked for this year. I bought 50 of one, and then the other, I think I bought about 30. And sure enough, right around December 5th, those things flew out the door. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I was like, man, I should have bought more. Yeah. And that's what we always say, right? So definitely high value lists. I actually thought that even those 2 leads are probably worth, for someone with the right budget, just those 2 leads easily worth a couple $100. Because you're gonna, I made a good $4,000 from those 2 leads alone.
Right.
So.
And that's exactly that reason, Devin, is why I think you probably remember me talking to you about this earlier this year when I started showing you some of these leads we were pulling, and I was ready to sell these for like $100 to $200 per lead on the Q4 out, because I know, just like Devin said, I mean, you can make several thousand from one lead. So for me to sell it for $200 per lead seems pretty fair, in my book. But obviously we're just pouring it on. So yeah, hey Devin, you've taken a look at the Q4 out of stock stuff a little bit. What do you think so far of what we've put together for the top 100?
Yeah, I definitely think they're solid leads. And one thing I do like that is great about this group in general, and something that you do really great, Grant, is we're very real about the expectation and numbers. So a lot of those leads, if we were to look at past history, we might be like, wow, it's going to make 250% return. But I noticed on the list that you put, 120% because you're being conservative, so people can buy based on a conservative expectation. They don't want to overbuy or underbuy, but realistically, they'll probably make more on a lot of those leads than projected on the list.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Well, you guys are hearing it here. Devin's got to peek over and see this stuff from behind the scenes. So, and I mean, Devin, you always drop some leads and share with Grant as part of our mastermind, and he does the same thing too. So, appreciate both you guys, man, for contributing to this. Let me just ask. I'll toss this to Grant, dude. I want to help clarify this, and then we'll wrap up today. If someone's looking at this thing, I want to participate. Like, I'm ready to play. I want to play big this year. But I'm not for sure if I should do the lead vault or if I should do stuff a la carte. So what would you say, like we've kind of designed this, if you're a brand new beginner, don't feel any pressure to get the lead vault. How much money would you say somebody should set aside or budget to take advantage of the lead vault? Like, how much would you need to spend to make that worth your time?
Shoot, I mean, 5,000 is more than enough to make your money back and be profitable. I think for somebody to make a 50% ROI should and again, we I say this carefully because everybody's going to have a different result based on their experience level and the decisions they make with these leads. But if you got a less than a 50% ROI across the board, especially after going through like the bonuses and watching, kind of the strategy that I'll help you kind of develop in buying these, if you saw a 50% or less, I'd be shocked. So 5,000, $2,500 return. So I'd say 5,000 at a minimum, but hopefully, you have, more than that, up to 10, or even some of you are going to have 15, 20,000. I've talked to some people who bought some leads from us last year, and they bought them again this year, and they've got, a $20,000 or $30,000 budget for this stuff. So, yeah. So, I mean, like I said 5,000 at a minimum if you're going to buy the whole lead vault. And then here's the other thing too, though, is maybe you have a limited budget this year. Think about what these leads will be worth next year. For example, these Q4 Amazon out of stock flips, you guys, this is stuff that was good last year, and many of them the year before that, and some of them the year before that, right? So, many of these already have a history of doing, going out of stock, Amazon going out of stock several years in a row. So next year, the Amazon out of stock blue and yellow, they're still going to be massively valuable. Like, you're going to be able to capitalize on that list probably for the next at least next year and the following year again on some of those leads. Some of the stuff Amazon will stop carrying, but a lot of them will still be good. So it's not just a list for this year. You're investing in next year as well. And I don't know, I'll talk to Gabe about this, but I wouldn't be opposed to, delivering last year's Toys R Us list to people who buy the lead vault too. They can go and look and see how things performed last year and kind of make some educated guesses about stuff. But yeah, and I was going to also make a comment too, like, here's the deal, like, we're charging $1,547 for the lead vault. And some of you that are watching this, I just want you to kind of consider what your time is worth. I'm going to spend out hundreds of hours, already have spent hundreds of hours, hired out, my team at hundreds of hours to create what we already have. And then we'll continue to invest hundreds of hours of my own time, my brother's time, and the rest of my team. If you were to take $1,500 and divide it by 100 hours of your time, that's a $15 per hour rate, right? So what is your time worth? If I can save you 100 hours of your time, and your time is worth more than $15 per hour, then you already came up on that level, right? So that's just another way to look at it, is break down what your time is worth. And we talked about that at the beginning of this call. Like, pro sellers know what their time is worth, and they leverage money and lists to maximize their time, right? Because for me, I look at my time and I'm worth at least, sourcing and running my Amazon business, minimum $50 to probably $100 an hour is probably what my time is worth at minimum, if not more, right? So if I can leverage a list and it's worth $15, it saves me $15 or saves me 100 hours, right? Then I'm already up on that level, just on a time level. So.
Yeah, dude, I'd challenge you, man. I think your time's worth more like $500 to $1,000 an hour. And the reason I say that is because if I gave you a $5,000 check, I bet you could go to Toys R Us and with the list and stuff you have, and I bet in 3 or 4 hours you could have that invested and have that turned into double or triple what you've made. And I know if we had a challenge, we should probably do a challenge sometime, Grant, to see how much profit you can make in 1 hour of sourcing.
Yeah,
so I bet you could pull in way more than 500.
Yeah, I received that, man. Just trying to, stay humble.
You're keeping it real, dude. You're keeping it real. So. Cool, guys. Well, again, hopefully you can hear our heart, man. 1 or 2. So if you're a baller and you're planning on spending 5,000 plus this Q4, and I'm going to ask Grant and Devin both one more question before we wrap up. Get option 1. It'll make itself back to you in droves, and then a lot of these leads you can use as a platform and a foundation for next year, because a lot of these come back year after year. And I know, Grant, you've seen 2 or 3 years now in a row where some of these leads have been home run hitters year after year, and you just got to hone in on those. And so. I had a question for both of you guys. I was going to ask you guys. I'll ask each of you guys. Grant, how much are you planning on spending this Q4, just to put it in perspective? Because someone's a new seller, maybe like, holy, $5,000. I'm trying to flip a couple hundred here, or someone's like, someone's spending a lot. What are you guys planning on spending this Christmas?
I'll jump out, I guess, real quick. My normal budget monthly is 30 grand. So that's what we're investing in a product every month. And I'd like to pour on another 20 to 30 grand additional into my store between now and like mid-November. So that kind of gives you some perspective on what we're trying to do.
So $50K a month, you guys are pouring in inventory. So when some of you guys hear, oh, Grant sold $2 million, you're like, how does he do that? Well, he's spending 30 grand a month. He's feeding the beast, right?
Right.
And he's got a team. He's got two different teams out while we're on the webinar today with you guys. They're out in two different cities sourcing, pulling in leads for Grant's business. So there's some things that he did to get here. But Devin, let me ask you, man, and this is by no means a stick measuring contest. I'm just curious because Grant's kind of like our RA expert for the group. You're the professor of online arbitrage, OA Professor Devin. So what's your budget like this Christmas, man?
Yeah, so honestly, it's probably going to be about the same as Grant. It's going to be about $50,000 to put into inventory I'm shooting for November 1st, and then I'll kind of hold that and have a little bit of stuff turning, my replens and stuff through November, and then we'll hit the sales obviously early December, late November as well. But yeah, about 50 grand.
Cool, man. So I appreciate you guys. I'm just asking to put that in perspective, for someone if you're new to this business, you hear this stuff and it's how do I get back here? It sounds new for you. So just to clarify this, guys, and we'll wrap up. If you're a baller, jump on the lead vault. We've got 31. I would love it if I can just hook up the top 31 people in our group and just rock and roll with you guys and work with you guys to crush it. If you're brand new, don't feel the pressure. This is your first rodeo. You're going to find out very quickly, though, if you just buy 1 or 2 or 3 lists that you wish you had all of them. And I'm going to clarify this too. The only way to get the OA Cheddar is to be on the lead vault, and the only way to get these 2 new bonus sourcing videos and PDFs, the Toys R Us training, how to pull $1,000 a day out of Toys R Us, and the Amazon out of stock, how to find your own Amazon flips. You can pull that in $1,000 too. That's only available with the lead vault. And all you got to do, guys, is go to sellersecrets.com/lead vault. And let me read this as you would have it, Grant. My new mouse. Hang on. This happens here. When you move, dude, you don't realize all the things that, like, your whole house system, like it all, when you move, everything goes different places. I got to find my batteries here. So let me back out here. There was one other good comment from Kim Norman and Tap, said she just received about $200 worth of merchandise from the Cheddar list today from Kohl's. So Kim's in Tap, and some of you guys have heard us talk about Tap. It's a mentoring program. You guys Tap members have first dibs on all these leads, and you guys have some exclusive leads that are part of that program too. She said she just pulled off $200 worth of product from today's list alone. So this is a fresh list that's going out now. And she said the good thing about the Q4 list, this is also from Kim, is that they will probably be good for next year as well. And this is what Grant was talking about, the list that keeps on giving, because you can buy them this year, and a lot of these are relevant the following year and the year after that. Some of these are trendy stuff, and that's why we keep cycling through, but we like to hook you guys up. So cool, man. Well, that wraps it up, guys. Do you guys have any other questions? I want to make sure we're clear on how this offer works, how we're going to do this next Friday. So all you got to do is subscribe, sign up to the early bird list, and we will send you guys an email first. We can only let 31 people in. Once it's full, and we will be closing down the lead vault for 2017, and it will be closed for the season. It's like the last ticket on the ski lift. You got to jump on while the train's here. And you got to run with it, man. We can give you guys the leads, we can give you the inspiration. You got to do the work, though. And this is as easy as we can make it for you guys, just to spoon feed you literally the best leads out of Grant's 7-figure business right on a silver platter. So just be subscribed for that. And then next Friday, we will open it up for y'all. So let me make sure you guys have it. Make sure everyone's clear about this. There's no more questions. Cool. So how many of you guys are excited, man? How many of you guys are excited for Q4 and you're ready to make this the best Q4 ever? I'm stoked, Grant and Devin. I'm starting to get the buzz, dude. I can feel it. And I know some of you guys are new in the group and you're like, what are these crazy people talking about Christmas for? You're about to find out. Yeah. Let me ask this in closing, man. I'm going to ask each of you guys this. What's one thing you wish you knew about Q4 when you first started? And I'll start with Grant.
I wish I knew that when I started in the first 2 Q4s that I ever did. I wish I knew how to buy stuff that didn't look that good yet, but performed or will perform very well in December. That's the big difference maker for us last year, was just buying stuff that really, we bought a lot of items that had very marginal profit in 2016, through September, October, and even early November. But then by the time we hit December, we were selling, for 50% to, 100+% ROI on all of that stuff. So it was a little scary because it was my first time really practicing it in 2016. But man, I was blown away with the results. And, now you're looking at the fruits of experimenting in 2016. That's what we have, and that's what we're offering here, is the fruit of that experiment. So yeah, that would be it. Just seeing the unseen, right? Scanning something and looking at it a little bit deeper and seeing things that brand new sellers and that I didn't notice, the first 2 years.
So this is like reading the Keepa charts, is what you're talking about, being able to kind of forecast. I think Wayne Gretzky talked about this. Don't go where the puck is. You want to go where the puck is going.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one of the keys with Q4 and what Grant's talking about. And you learn this with experience. So is this your third Q4, Grant?
I think this will be our fourth, but the previous two were pretty good, and I built off of those. The first Q4 I was clueless, absolutely had no clue what was going on.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually,
cool, man.
2014, 15, 16. Yeah. This might be.
Well, I'm grateful. I appreciate you putting all this together, man. If it wasn't for your generosity with this, you're going to hook a lot of people up and change some lives this Christmas. So I appreciate you stepping on a limb and being generous. And Devin, let me ask you, man, closing thoughts. What's one piece of advice, one thing you've learned now that you wish you knew when you first started?
Yep. Before Grant ever answered, I thought pretty much the same thing. I would have been prepared with inventory, anticipating Amazon out of stock, as opposed to having some good inventory, like typical toys, a lot of toys that you may have floating around and things like that. They will probably go up, but actually just using the data and calculating your buying during these next 45 days, and even before these 2 months leading up till November, I wish I would have been aware that it's actually working a lot smarter. You can buy stuff like the holiday deals and you can make money, but that's actually the second opportunity, and secondary. It's actually better to buy the out of stock before, because your stuff's already going to be at Amazon's warehouse when Black Friday or Cyber Monday hits, and more importantly because after those days is when Amazon is going to be probably out of stock more, because they get hit hard on Cyber Monday, and a lot of people are not going to buy on Cyber Monday. They're going to buy afterwards. Mm-hmm. So I wish I would have known that. Stock up. Stock up on Amazon.
Yeah, dude, I hear that from a lot of people, man. I've heard that from a lot of sellers. I wish I would have bought more, my first one. And then you learn it, and then you feed as much as you can. And then some of you guys are thinking, I've never spent, $50,000. That's like a down payment on a house. Like, you guys are crazy. And I'd shove $500,000 in there if I had access to it. You know what happened. So cool, man. Well, Denise Miller says this is going to be the best Q4 ever. So awesome, Denise. Greg Testeros said UPS just delivered 4 boxes of goodies from the list. So Greg's buying off the list. All you TAP members, if you guys have results, go ahead and post it in here. I love hearing you guys' results. Alexander, thumbs up, happy face. And Grace, this is a kind of a perfect ending. She said, thanks, you guys, for all this info. Overwhelming as a newbie, but appreciate the time and advice and leads. Greatly appreciate your knowledge and willingness to help. So let me button this up. If you are, a lot of this stuff may be brand new, and if you're a new person, I'll give you some piece here. Grant, if you were a new person, you had to pick 2 lists off option 2, what would you start with?
I'd take one of each, but honestly, I think about the new person and I realize that there's a lot of unknown and a little bit of confusion and stuff, because I've been there. Personally, buying, and I hate to do this, but I'm just going to tell you the truth. Buying everything that's going to be in option 1 is it's like buying 2 semesters of a college education. You know what I mean? Like, you can take it slow with 1 or 2 of the list on the right, and you'll learn and you'll gain some knowledge from that. Or you can, because honestly, like even if you don't understand everything you buy when you get option one, like you're gonna be learning from this material and from what I'll be offering in like the videos and stuff. It's gonna educate you all the way through the end of the year. You'll still be learning from it in early 2018. So personally, if I could, if I had this opportunity, 3 years ago, I would definitely take the main option. But if my budget was just simply like not allowed it, I'd take one of each of the other lists just so you can learn from both. Now, if you're super, super duper duper new, right, and like very little about what's going on, and you're just going to focus on retail arbitrage, the lowest risk stuff is the Toys R Us stuff, right? So if you want to prevent any, because you could buy some of the stuff from the Amazon out of stock list, and if you have a very limited budget and you only buy a few different things, I can't guarantee how that stuff's going to turn out. Whereas with the Toys R Us stuff, I can almost bet you're going to make money on pretty much 95% of what's on that list. Whereas the Amazon out of stock list is something that, it's a little bit less predictable, but also has much higher return potential. So you got to take it with with that. So like Gabe said, Toys R Us, low risk, a little bit lower reward. Amazon out of stock, high risk, much higher reward. So
yeah, short and simple. If you're brand spanking new, I tell everybody to play big. So I always think differently. I think if you're brand spanking new, you might just want to scoop up if there's available. And again, we're giving all the Lead Vault members first dibs, so there may not be any a la carte. I have to say that in advance. If there is, Grace, just jump on the red and green list. I mean, you can going into Toys R Us is a great way to learn the system. And I would go into if you're a new person, this is for Grace or anybody else, go into the Scan Everything basic course. It comes with your group subscription, and go watch all those videos, because the education in that basic course can make you a fortune. If you can learn how to just source and find this stuff, and then use the Toys R Us list as a launching pad. But I would go literally, like the course says, go scan everything and do it. Grace, I'm not for sure where you live, but any kind of suburb shopping is what you're looking for. So I wouldn't go downtown, but go kind of on the edge of, just go on the edge of the burbs. There's all kinds of good stuff. And you can pull Grant lists in the Scan Everything basic course. I think he lists his top 10 favorite stores. And then you just got to find stuff, man. Q4 is just a crazy time. You're going to start, if you like to shop, you just start buying and you just get hooked, and then it's just game on. Yep. So, but anyways, have peace, guys. We do this for you. So if you're a power player, grab the Lead Vaults. If you want to stick your toe in the water, do that. Either way, it's going to be first come, first serve. When the lists are full, they're full. Adnan says, thank you. We had a couple of you ask if we've got a recording. We should. And if we do, I will be posting it to the group very shortly. But hey, guys, hope you have an awesome weekend. Looking forward to opening this up next week. Just make sure y'all are subscribed on the list, sellersecrets.com/lead-vault. And we'll pop you guys an email. We've just been moving our whole database over to Infusionsoft. And so when you re-opt in here, it'll guarantee that we can send you emails and make sure that you're getting them. So just check your email box once you sign up. Clark's been building this stuff for us in the background. So anyways, guys, we're stoked. Next Friday, we'll open it up at 11 o'clock, and then we'll have some kind of a training on how to apply this stuff later that day. But Grant, appreciate you, brother. And Devin, appreciate you being on, man. And appreciate what both you guys are up to. So
you bet. Appreciate you too, Gabe. Thanks for being on the call, everybody.
Awesome, man. Alexander says, love you as always. Thank you for your hearts. Denise, appreciate you guys. Jeffrey, Grace, Donna Smith, Greg Testero, James Ramsey, Pam McGee. We got a bunch of you guys on here. Rodney Gardner, Will Silvers, more people than I can list. So you guys have an awesome day, and we'll see you guys next Friday.
Bye.